Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by...
For over 30 years, Vanguard Outdoors has made the gear that turns a regular hunt into another fine day of field. We know that a good shooting stick or a nice pair of binoculars can make or break your day. Our design teams include serious hunters who work hard to bring you the best sporting optics, shooting sticks, tripods, bags, and more. We are Vanguard Outdoors.
Hello everyone, welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. We're so glad you're here. I'm Jenny Sialek and it's finally firearm deer season and we've got a great show headed your way. We're going to kick it off with a deer hunt from last week during archery season from our own Jordan Brown. He was finally able to put a tag on a buck he's been following for years now. You won't want to miss that story. And we've got some other deer hunting action headed your way too.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have a couple more things on this week's show. After we see Jordan's really cool bow hunt, we're going to take you to a deer camp from last year where I was able to get out with now my father-in-law and get you excited for the firearm deer season. You get to see that hunt. And also, speaking of getting you excited for the season, we'll have our annual Palace in the Popple poem. Lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger, and it's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors.
What a beautiful day in the woods.
Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse, a sportsman's meat processor and Michigan destination since 1988, offers a variety of homemade smoked meats and Michigan-made products in-store and online. The Country Smokehouse features an outdoor barbecue and bar. Details at countrysmokehouse.com. By the Michigan Outfitter, committed to honoring and celebrating Michigan through their products, offering a variety of apparel, stickers, and gift items for the outdoor enthusiast. Learn more at themichiganoutfitter.com.
Change my ways. They told me I could leave soon if I changed my ways. It's been 3 dark days. Whoa! I'm coming home.
November is the best month of the year if you're a deer hunter here in Michigan. And although I was excited for the month to start, I couldn't help but think about October and the multiple encounters I'd had with a buck we nicknamed the Big Ten. But as November rolled in, he moved out.
Back out here, it's November 1st, a very windy November 1st, and a big cold front. Between last night, I had the kids out trick-or-treating, it was like 65 or 70 degrees. This morning, it's like 42 and windy. Big change overnight, so should have the deer on their feet. I'm sitting in one of my favorite stands. This is the same tree I killed my buck in last year. I actually killed a buck in here 3 or 4 years ago as well. Really cool spot. You don't see much because you're right on the edge of the bedding area, so I can't see very far. But those bigger bucks love to cruise these edges. So I've got 2 big scrapes I can see within 30 yards that have been worked up really recently. So hopefully we get one of them big ones to come through. Check that scrape. Obviously still looking for the buck I've been kind of chasing all year. A buck we call the Big Ten. But there is another good buck around that I'd be happy to put a tag on, so we'll see what happens. What a great encounter. Wow, I'm sitting on the edge of this little bedding area, and I've seen a couple of bucks this morning, and other than that, I've only seen a couple other deer, but I've been hearing a buck in here most of the morning. Pretty deep grunt. I've heard him make a few scrapes and rubs, but he hasn't come out. Finally, he made kind of a closer swing towards me, so I grunted a few times. I snort wheezed a couple times, and he came running in here. I had him dead to rights, 20 yards right in front of me. A buck I know pretty well. I've got pictures of him this summer. I saw him one other time during bow season, but that's the first time I've had him within range. I honestly didn't know if I would shoot him or not, given the opportunity. We will see if I made the right decision, because that buck had a lot of antler.
The hunting that first week of November was great, and the rut was in full swing, but still no sign of the Big Ten. And as the days went by, I started to get more and more nervous that another hunter may have caught up with him. As the first week in November came to a close, it had been almost 2 weeks since I had seen him in person, and nearly 10 days since the last picture.
Well, it's November 6th. Back at it this morning. Sitting in a stand I sat last week and had a really good encounter with a nice buck. Not quite the deer I'm looking for, but a good deer. It's warm. I've had a bunch of rain the last couple days, but it's kind of clearing out. It's really pretty nice weather, but this time of year, it doesn't really matter once things start going. Things have taken kind of a weird turn. I spent pretty much all of October targeting one buck, and since October I don't have a single picture of him, so I have had another good deer show up, so I'm kind of hunting him now and hoping that other buck. Hoping that other buck shows back up. I got some deer right over here.
After a series of loud grunts caught my attention, I laid eyes on the buck I was hoping to see. Britt.
I was literally doing my intro to the hunt, and I heard his buck grunt behind me, and kind of just focused on that. While I was doing the intro, I was talking about the buck that I hunted all of October and hadn't seen or had a single picture of. A buck they call the Big Ten. Since November started, it's been a week, and he was in here very regular. Well, long story short, it was that buck that was making the grunt. He actually, so tough. Self-filming is so tough. I kept trying to guess where he was going to come out. It's really tight in here. There's only a few gaps. I've been hunting that buck so hard. I got some footage of him coming in, and I thought he was going to the right, and I moved over there, and then he swung back to the left, and he was getting ready to leave. I was going back and forth in my head if I should just let him go to try to get some better footage, but at the end of the day, it's November 6th. I've been bow hunting for 5 weeks for that opportunity. I tried to get the camera situated, but it was now or never. He was kind of quartering away, and I stopped him. Took about a 32-yard shot. He was quartering away pretty hard. I think I hit him pretty good, a little bit back. I was aiming kind of back of the ribs. I think I hit him just a touch behind that, but he was quartering away pretty hard. We'll see. Well, what happens, I'm going to give him a while for sure just because of the nature of the shot, but it's crazy how quick it can happen this time of year. I mean, from intro to shot, maybe 5 minutes, but he was right here pretty quick. I mean, you can see behind me how thick it is. They kind of come out of nowhere, so I'm going to sit tight for a while, try to really think about where I hit him. Probably going to give this deer ample amount of time, but I mean, I'm just kind of at loss for words. I kind of thought somebody else had already shot him after being gone for a week, but we'll see. Right there. He didn't go 50 yards.
Well, here he is. Shot ended up being a lot better than I thought it was. I went up to check my arrow, and it looked great. And I thought, wow, I'll follow another 10, 15 yards just to see what the blood trail's looking like. And I went about 10 or 15 yards and looked up, and I could see him. The entire time I thought it was fatal. I just wasn't sure because he was quartering away so hard, and that can be a tricky shot. But it ended up being good. He's stiff as a board right now, so glad I went and investigated a little bit because I probably would have given him the rest of the day otherwise. So great buck, you know, the history that I have with this deer, knowing him for a few years, and I really like to try to hunt specific deer, and this is a deer that I've probably spent the most time on this year and know the best for sure from previous seasons. So that was kind of the goal, and to get it done with a bow and arrow, man, it's just about as good as it gets. So it's hard to believe that the early bow season has come and gone. And as I look back, I'm thankful to have had the opportunity to chase this buck around as long as I did. Good luck to all of the firearm deer hunters hitting the woods tomorrow. And whether you're looking for that target buck or just meeting the freezer, stay safe and enjoy your time in the woods.
We get it. There are no shortcuts to getting it right. Bell's Two-Hearted IPA.
Well, as you can see, Jordan had quite a season this year, and congrats to him for tagging that nice buck. What we're going to do right now is take you to last year's Firearm Deer Opener, where I was able to get out with my now father-in-law. He's a really good hunter, but even more importantly, a really good guy. My opening day found me in Mason County this year at a little cabin with an old friend of the family, Ron Hendrickson. Ron is an avid outdoorsman who just retired this year, leaving him more time to spend at this newly renovated family cabin, which is acting as deer camp this week.
Well, my brother-in-law moved here from Florida and got into the out of doors and the peace and quiet, and he bought this little cabin here, and it was pretty primitive when we got it, and my sister and my wife made it into more of a she-shack. We kind of kid with the girls, but they did a really good job, and Drew has got a different love for something now. He just loves being out here and hunting. He's learning you don't have to shoot a deer to be successful. He's shot a really nice big dry doe this year during the special doe season. Very patient during the rest of the bow season and passed up a lot of deer waiting for the big buck, but that's kind of how it started. And Drew, in the last 5 years, went from being my brother-in-law to probably the best friend I've ever had in my life.
After arriving at camp, Ron showed me around the property a bit, freshened up a few scrapes, showed me the blind we would be hunting in, and we didn't have a big deer camp tonight. It was just the two of us. Ron is also the father of Missy, the girl I have been dating now for over a year and a half, who has now been my fiancée for over 2 months. So to get to know my soon-to-be father-in-law over a fire at deer camp, well, it was pretty special.
This one here is an albino that we shot out in the state park, and I had the whole rug made. It was had white hoofs, and it was as white as you could get. Got it the second day of gun season. And of course my dad again, and here's me shooting an archery tournament. And there's just deer after deer after deer. This here was my dad's hunting license when he got drafted into the war, and he didn't get to fill it, but at that time, back in 1940 something, there was only 4 deer shot in the state of Michigan with bow and arrow.
4?
Mm-hmm. Wow. And there was 1,083 bear shot that year.
Wow.
So. I'm gonna get a.
Not too much snoring out back there?
No, I didn't. Not too bad.
Okay, good.
Better than my wife.
Oh, goodness.
Opening morning in West Michigan, well, it was fairly warm. And as we settled in, I had Ron talk a little bit about how he got started hunting.
Actually, it was my dad. Got into hunting at a very young age. Had a little recurve bow that was made in Ludington, Michigan. It was a Ivanhoe bow made by Wisniff. And used to go out to Grandma's house and chase rabbits and chipmunks and shoot them, and it just mushroomed from there. Just a great father and son experience, and then got into it with my dad, or my son and my grandson, and they kind of got out of it a little bit, but they enjoyed it while they're in it.
Well, we had a quiet first few hours. After a cup of coffee, things changed rather quickly when Ron spotted a buck. I moved the camera to the correct window to see if we could get the buck on camera, and first make sure he was a legal 3-on-a-side buck here in Mason County.
What is it? I can't tell if he's legal.
I can't tell either.
must have smelled that scent.
Do you want me to try to get my binoculars and look at him? Oh yeah, he's legal.
Can't see him. You got him.
Yeah, if you get a shot.
Darn.
He's gotta come through that green grass. Right there. Take him. Oh, you dropped him.
Holy cow. Oh, shoot. Put safety back on.
Oh my gosh.
That's nice to hear.
That. What just happened there, Ron?
I'm sure he came in because that scent came way over to there.
Oh my word. Tell me what happened there, young man.
I was just daydreaming, and I looked, and there was a deer coming at us. We really didn't think we were going to see anything today, and because there's so much shooting on the other side. But the wind changed a little bit, and I sprayed some scent, and it carried it over, and I think I drew the deer out of the swamp. That's the only thing I can figure out, but I didn't think I was going to get shot at him. If he would have took a couple more steps, he would have been in the swamp, and I don't think we got to track him. I think
when I first saw him, you said, here comes a deer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I couldn't tell, because he was facing, by the time I got the camera moved around over here, I could just
And
see
then
it
my
was a
gun
buck.
hit this, and he stopped. When he kind of took a couple bounds, I thought he's going into the swamp. Well, he gave me just a little teeny bit of light, and I think I'm going to put my earplugs in now.
The thing about deer hunting is, boy, can things change quickly. From not seeing a thing to buck on the ground. We got lucky the buck had stopped, but Ron made a great shot, and we were on our way to see this dandy of an opening day buck.
Oh, Ronnie.
Not too shabby.
I would say so. Look at this
1,
guy.
2, 3, 4.
Well, as you can see, we had a great hunt, and it was good to be in the woods on such a perfect opening day. To all of you headed north or south or out the back door, good luck in the woods, and no matter where you are, enjoy what this great old state has to offer on the opener here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Thank you so much for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Now, we will have cameras rolling across the state for opening day, and we'll be sharing those stories with you in the upcoming weeks. But if you'd like a little more real-time look at how we're doing out there, you can always check us out online.
Well, that's right, Jenny. Online is a good way to kind of keep track of us, especially those social media platforms. As the deer season kind of unfolds, you can see how we're doing around the state, and you can share with us how you're doing as well. And it's finally that time for our Palace in the Popple poem. Now, this is a poem that hung in the deer camp that I grew up going to. It's a great way to kind of kick off the season. So for all of you that will be getting out, good luck, be safe, respect other hunters when you see them in the field, and it's now time for Palace in the Popple.
It's a smoky, raunchy boar's nest with an unswept, drafty floor, with pillow-ticking curtains and knife scars in the door. The smell of a pine knot fire from a stovepipe that's come loose mingles sweetly with the boot grease and the Copenhagen snooze. There are work-worn 30-30s with scratched and battered stocks and drying lines of long johns and steaming, pungent socks. There's a table for the bloody four and their game of two-card draw. There's deep and dreamless sleeping on bunk ticks stuffed with straw. Frank's been drafted for cook again and is peeling some spuds for stew, while Bruce wanders by in baggy drawers reciting Dangerous Dan McGrew. Nowhere on earth is fire so warm or coffee so infernal, nor whiskers so stiff, jokes so rich, or where hope blooms so eternal. A guy could live for a solid week in the same old underbritches and walk like a man and spit where he wants and scratch himself where it itches. I tell you boys, there is no place else I'd rather be come fall, where I eat like a bear and sing like a wolf and feel like I'm bull pine tall. In that raunchy cabin up in the north, in the land of the deer and the loon, with the tracking snow lying new to the ground at the end of the rutting moon.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by.
Do you dream of somewhere bigger than your backyard? You can get there with Greenstone. Whether you want to hunt, fish, hike, or just watch the sunset, we're ready to help you own your place in the great outdoors. To learn more, visit greenstonefcs.com.
By SCI. SCI helps protect, promote, and preserve wildlife through conservation practices which include hunting. SCI supports and funds conservation programs in the state of Michigan. Learn more how you can get involved at a chapter near you.
By Showspan, producing consumer shows including the Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit, January 9th through 12th at Novi's Suburban Collection Showplace. The show features fishing tackle, trips, boats, and seminars from the top pros. The Ultimate Fishing Show, Novi, January 9th through 12th. By Network Outdoors, connecting members to share experiences, help grow businesses, and to give back to the outdoor community. Learn more at one of 10 monthly meetups or online at networkoutdoors.com. Closed captioning brought to you by Double D Ranch Foundation, a nonprofit 501c3 foundation working to make hunting and fishing accessible for those with disabilities.